Good evening. When we know how to read our own hearts, we acquire wisdom of the hearts of others. Welcome to BMC News Live in English, brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. I am Vinod Narayanan, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines. Bahrain Philharmonic Orchestra magical performance sets tone for International Music Festival. Candidature applications to be submitted on October 5 to 9 in special mechanism adopted for COVID-19 patients. Saudi Arabia announced new social media requirements. 20 professions on new work visa face skill test in Kuwait. Stampede and riot at Indonesia soccer match killed 129. League suspended. India launched 5G services and Prime Minister Modi called it step in new era. News in detail. Bahrain Philharmonic Orchestra magical performance sets tone for International Music Festival. The 31st Bahrain International Music Festival has come to life with its first concert conducted by Maestro Mubarak Najim and the Bahrain Philharmonic Orchestra, infusing international classic music with Arab music. Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities organized the dazzling evening in line with its annual celebration of the festival, featuring several phenomenal acts and performances. Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities President Sheikh Khalifa bin Hamad Al Khalifa and other officials were present. The 31st edition of the festival reflects the sustainability of the celebration of music in the Kingdom of Bahrain, he added. The orchestra carried the concert with extraordinary musical numbers from famous performers and musicians that featured picks from Mozart, Brahms, and Gulf music, and others by the maestro himself from many of his outstanding orchestral Bahraini tunes. Consort of His Majesty the King congratulated Dr. Sheikha Rana on honorary doctorate. Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, Consort of His Majesty the King and President of the Supreme Council for Women, sent a cable of congratulations to Secretary General and Vice Chairperson of the Board of Trustees of the Higher Education Council and Supreme Council for Women member, Sheikh Dr. Rana bint Isa bin Deij Al Khalifa, who became the first Arab woman to be granted an honorary doctorate by the University for Peace. In the cable, Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika praised Dr. Sheikh Rana's efforts to contribute to national development and progress and highlight Bahraini women's honorable standing as a nation-building active partner. Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika wished Dr. Sheikh Rana further success to continue the march of achievements in serving the Kingdom of Bahrain, led by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, with the support of His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. Candidature applications to be submitted on October 5th to 9th and special mechanism adopted for COVID-19 patients. Legislation and Legal Opinion Commission President, Parliamentary and Municipal Elections Executive Director, Chancellor Nawaf Abdullah Hamza, has announced that the supervisory committees in the 4 governorates are ready to receive citizens wishing to run for the membership of the Council of Representatives and municipal elections as of Wednesday, October 5th until Sunday, October 9th. Chancellor Hamza asserted that a special mechanism has been adopted to enable COVID-19 patients to exercise their constitutional rights to run for the elections while adhering to specific health and precautionary requirements in order to ensure the health and safety of everyone. According to the mechanism, COVID-19 patients wishing to run for the elections should contact the hotline 77-277-277 to book an appointment with the relevant supervisory committee. Fill in the nomination form available on oath.bh and attach the required documents. Bahrain attended meeting on global policies towards terrorist fighters. The delegation of the Kingdom of Bahrain, headed by the Chief of Strategic Affairs Sector at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Nancy Abdullah Jamal, participated in an international meeting on global policies towards terrorist fighters, which was held in Atal, Republic of Malta. The meeting was organized by the Counter-Terrorism Bureau of the United States Department of State in partnership with the International Institute for Justice and Rule of Law, with the participation of a group of senior officials and decision makers in the field of counter-terrorism. Ambassador Nancy, in her remarks in the meeting sessions, highlighted the foreign policy of the Kingdom of Bahrain, which comes as a reflection of the vision of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, whose priorities are security, peace, regional and international stability. and the guarantee of human rights for all. She stressed the importance that the Kingdom of Bahrain attaches to the topics of terrorism and extremism as a major part of international interaction and cooperation to combat terrorism, which showcases the Kingdom's regional standing in raising and discussing these pivotal issues, especially considering the current developments in this regard. Oil and Environment Minister met COP26 President. Minister of Oil and Environment, Special Envoy for Climate Affairs, Dr. Mohammed bin Mubarak Al Daina, met the Minister at the Cabinet Office and President of the UN Climate Change Conference, Alok Sharma, during his visit to the United Kingdom. Dr. bin Daina affirmed the Kingdom of Bahrain's commitment to dedicate the necessary resources and exchanging knowledge and technical expertise through collaborative joint approaches to set up action on climate change aimed to build capacity in pursuit of climate security and building a sustainable and resilient future. He highlighted the Kingdom's wide-ranging efforts to meet its commitments to achieve net zero emissions by 2060 and reducing carbon emissions by 30% by 2035 through decarbonization and efficiency initiatives that include the doubling of afforestation in the Kingdom, the quadrupling of mangrove trees, the doubling of renewable energy targets, increasing energy efficiency and direct investment in carbon capture technologies. Today's COVID updates. COVID updates brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. Now we will be back after a very short break. Welcome back. Saudi Arabia announced new social media requirements. In a clear reflection of the growing importance of the digital content sector in Saudi Arabia, the media regulator in the kingdom has introduced a requirement for individuals to obtain a license prior to publishing advertising content through social media platforms. The program known as Mawthooq, which translates as verified, will authorize individuals to post advertisements and promotional content on social media. As the number of content creators in the kingdom grows, the licensing requirement has been introduced to ensure that social media advertisers and influencers adhere to the kingdom's media policies and controls. These content rules are currently set out in various criminal laws, media publications, legislation, and regulatory standards that apply restrictions on both online and offline content, including prohibitions on content that could harm national security, offend public morality, or damage the reputation of the kingdom. The license is valid for 3 years and will allow for advertisements to be published through an account registered with the authority. Account holders will need to flag advertising content and must ensure that promoted products or services are properly licensed. The controls apply to all types of online advertisements, whether images, video, audio, or text. Kuwaiti cabinet submitted resignation to His Highness the Emir. The Kuwaiti government has submitted its resignation to His Highness the Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah, a senior official announced on Saturday. The announcement was made by the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Oil, Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs and the Acting Minister of State for National Assembly Affairs, Dr. Muhammad Al Faris. Following an extraordinary cabinet session held at Saif Palace, Kuwait News Agency reported. Minister Al Faris said in a statement following the special session chaired by His Highness the Prime Minister Sheikh Ahmed Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Sabah that the cabinet had referred its resignation to His Highness the Emir following declaration of the parliamentary elections results in line with Kuwait Constitution. 20 professions on new work visa face skill test in Kuwait as a continuation of the smart recruitment of skilled labor project, for which the Public Authority for Manpower has obtained approvals to include in the development plan and to implement it in cooperation with other relevant government agencies. Responsible sources in the authority said the theoretical tests for professions for which expatriate workers are recruited will take place in the labor exporting countries in cooperation with the Kuwaiti embassies in these respective countries. However, Public Authority for Manpower stressed that upon arrival in Kuwait, the worker will have to appear for the practical test because he is eligible for a work permit. The sources indicated that more than 20 professions that are in high demand in the labor market have been identified, but will slowly include other professions. In case the worker fails the practical tests, the sponsor will be obliged to pay the return fare to the point of departure. The sources added that the most prominent objectives of the project are the academic accreditation of professional tests, determining the success and failure rates on which the authority's decision is based on whether or not to bring in the worker, the development of an automated test system, as well as the modernization of professions and professional and standard descriptions according to the needs of the labor market, and the adoption of laws and decisions that guarantee compliance. Kuwait's new parliament to meet on October 11th. Kuwait's newly elected parliament will convene on October 11th. The cabinet has said after endorsing a decree calling on the legislature to meet. Kuwaitis elected a new parliament on Thursday. 22 women were among the 305 candidates who competed in National Assembly elections for the 50-seat body. Of the 50 seats, 28 were won by opposition candidates. 20 MPs lost their seats, including 3 former ministers. The new parliament will see the return of women after 2 years without a female MP. Jinan Bushri and Alia Al-Khalid were elected as part of the opposition. The budget, which has to be voted on before November, has set spending 23.65 billion dinars compared with 23.48 billion dinars in the 2021-2022 budget. Stampede and riot at Indonesia. Soccer match killed 129. League suspended. At least 129 people were killed and some 180 hurt at a soccer match in Indonesia as panicked fans were trampled and crushed trying to flee a riot, authorities said on Sunday, in what appeared to be worst stadium disaster in half a century, when supporters of the losing home team invaded the pitch in East Java province on Saturday night to express their frustration. Officers fired tear gas in an attempt to control the situation, triggering a stampede and cases of suffocation. East Java Police Chief Nico Afinta said. Video footage from local news channels showed fans streaming onto the pitch in the stadium in Malang after Arema FC lost 3-2 to Persebaya Surabaya. Scuffles can be seen, with that appeared to be tear gas in the air. According to Reuters, Indonesian President Joko Widodo said authorities must thoroughly evaluate security at matches, adding that he hoped this could be the last soccer tragedy in the nation. Earthquake struck southwestern Japan. An earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 5.9 struck Japan's southwestern prefecture of Miyazaki and other areas this morning, with no tsunami warnings issued. According to the Japan Meteorological Agency, the quake occurred at 12:02 a.m. local time, with its focus at a depth of about 30 kilometers off the Ozumi Peninsula, registering lower 5 on Japan's seismic intensity scale in the city of Nishinan, Berina reported. The earthquake measured 4 in Miyazaki city on the Japanese seismic intensity scale, peaks at 7 in some other parts of the prefecture and 3 in the nearby prefectures. The Japan Meteorological Agency said The agency did not issue a tsunami warning because of the quake, and there have no immediate reports of accidents or injuries because of the quake. India launched 5G services and Prime Minister Narendra Modi called it step in new era. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched 5G services in India on Saturday, calling it a step towards the new era. The launch in select cities will cover the entire country over the next couple of years, a government statement said. Associated Press reported. Modi launched a much-awaited service that aimed to provide seamless coverage, high data rate, less delay in internet connectivity and highly reliable communications in presence of India's telecom leaders. Bharti Airtel is rolling out its 5G services in 8 cities on Saturday and has set March 2024 as the deadline for countrywide coverage for as many as 5,000 towns. Reliance Jio Telecom Company plans to start 4 metropolitan areas in October and hopes to reach more cities and towns in 18 months. The government said that the cumulative economic impact of 5G on India is expected to reach $450 billion by 2035. With that, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. every day. I am Vinod Narayanan signing off from BMC News Live. Good night.